All right, welcome back. So, in continuing with our current series on FedEx ground drivers trying to figure out, get some insight from what they're posting on social media, we have a video today from a sweet baby Michael. I wanted something new. A lot of the videos we've done, they've been older stuff, a year old, couple years old, when things were different. So, wanted to look for something new, and he posted this less than a month ago. So this is post-peak season, January 2024. So let's see what sweet baby Michael's got going on. And always remember, this is insight for contractors to get a sense of what these drivers are thinking about, what their concerns are, how to provide better situation for them so that your retention increases. And then for drivers, hopefully we can give you some insight from a contractor's perspective so you get more access to the people who are making those decisions and paying you and running these companies that you are driving for. So let's get started. Snowing?
All right, man. Good morning. It's Saturday, January 13th, 2024.
Turn right on South Meadows Road, then take the first left.
Should know. I think I know where this is.
Heading back out for our fifth and final day of the work week. It's also our second day into driving in this winter storm. Is it Gina? Something like that. Anywho, it's snowing. The wind is blowing like crazy, as you can see from Old Glory up there. I got down here, would have left about a half hour ago. Well, that's not true. I would have left about 20 minutes ago, but the drive tires were, the passenger side drive tires were frozen.
Tires were frozen.
Like a lazy person. I don't keep my tools in here anymore. We do have assigned trucks, but you know, if there's an issue there's always a couple floater trucks that no one's driving. In case there's an issue with a truck that needs to be repaired, and we could still have the driver running. Lost my train of thought. Anywho, it was all frozen up. Oh yeah. I don't keep my tools that I have in it because it's a pain in the butt to move them when you're switching trucks. I mean, it doesn't happen that often, but I guess today is a good...
Something interesting, right? Drivers need tools. If there is a very minor, I don't even say a breakdown, but they need to change a bulb, or we've had guys that can do glad hands. Minor stuff, drivers are capable of doing those minor fixes. And so what we like to do is every one of our trucks has a very particular set of tools in it. We have a bag that we get off Amazon, and it's just, we have several of them. So put in those trucks, and it belongs to the trucks. Now we have drivers who have their own, much more specific sets of tools that they want to have, but we like to have just the general sets of stuff that someone could use with duct tape. Let's be honest. The most important tool that these guys are going to use out on the road is just a couple rolls of duct tape. Fix any of the problems that they have, especially short term, until they can get back.
Lesson on why I should at least keep a mallet in here.
Mallet,
so
hammer.
Yeah, I think I'm going to, for the remainder of the winter, do that. But honestly, this is the first time I've had trailer brakes or a tractor brake freeze on me. I did learn, if you tap those, you take the mallet and tap around the drum, it released it. So that's pretty cool. I was in the spot when I was
trying to see where he is.
Release the brakes and put the truck in gear.
Continue on F-71.
71.
And I could tell that it was a little stuck, but sometimes it just feels like there's a little catch. And I thought that's what was happening, and it released, and I pulled forward, but something just felt weird. So I looked in the mirror and noticed, hey, that's not your drive tires aren't turning. So yuck. I called my boss. He said to
71's like Ohio. Oh, it runs through Ohio, Cleveland to Louisville, Kentucky.
And he was on his way up anyway, I think, to
getting on 270.
With other folks, he used another truck driver's mallet, and the truckers helping truckers. I was able to get it undone, so that's cool. We got one loaded.
Okay, so he's right around Columbus, Ohio. You guys probably already knew that, but whatever. I knew it looked familiar.
Good condition. 25,000 pounds on it today, so I'm thankful for the extra weight. I know I've heard different opinions from truckers on if they prefer to have, if a heavier load matters in these windy conditions. Just from a feel standpoint, I like it, a little bit heavier. So yeah, this feels good so far. I mean, I'm sure when I hit a big fat wind gust, it's gonna push me around. But
So 66 miles an hour. That's very
When
terrifying.
the snow isn't going to be an issue. I don't think
It's not an exact science with those speed limiters, but looks like he's capped at 65.
I mean, I left the apartment today and it was like, you know, the actual temperature, was 29 degrees, but man, it was already biting cold, and it's already worse now, and that was an hour and a half ago, so it is dropping. What's my watch say? It says it's down to 24, so yeah, it's getting colder, and I'm sure by the time I get to the Butthead up here in western Pennsylvania, it's going to be super cold.
So interesting. He's on a daytime dedicated Butthead run, probably at a colo. He just got started, heading to wherever he's going. He's going to Butthead. He's going to meet with a driver from another hub, and they're going to swap trailers, drive back. My favorite types of run, he's not driving to another station. He's not driving to another hub where he has to disconnect his doubles, wait in the dispatch office, wait for his trailers, find them, drive through a tight parking lot. He's just pulling over at a Love's or somewhere, swapping trailers, and then heading right back. He's home every day. He mentioned this is his 5th day in a row. He's driving during the day. This is a phenomenal job for a CDL truck driver, somebody who went to school, somebody who, expected to be out on the road and have to be, out longer than certainly a day. He's got the opportunity to drive for his contractor, great assigned run, be home every day. So this is the type of run that you want to build your business around. Daytime runs, easy, Buttheads. So this is a good one, and he's taken care of.
It's pretty inside this nice warm truck, and quite unpleasant outside the truck. Like, it's affecting visibility a little bit.
He's got his Lytix camera right there. It's the new model.
There's a little wind right there, but we're going due north, so that seems to be the worst.
Just going north out of Colo. He's probably heading up towards either Toledo or Cleveland.
I'd rather drive into it. Into it sucks too. I'll be with it for the last half of the drive, last third of the drive.
Notice the cars just passing him, and he's capped at 65 miles an hour, and they're all going faster.
But that's an ice rink over there, man.
So he's not just parked in that left-hand lane and sitting there. And if he does, he's going to have to come out and let people pass him. So he's hanging out in the middle or in the right-hand lane.
I was reading this Reddit thread this morning. It was posted yesterday on the trucker subreddit, and it's either trucker or truckers. Anyway, somebody had shown they had parked at a pilot or something somewhere in Iowa. Might have been up there by the there's 2 pilots there, I think. Aren't there 2 pilots there at Walcott at the next to the world's largest truck stop? I think there is.
He's got
that's where that
a
dude was
GoPro on his head, and it's
all snowy and stuff. Anyway,
making me nauseous.
Come on, brother, what is that? Which company has the worst drivers, which is a fun debate, I think, that most truckers, or a lot of truckers, like to have anyway. I'm guilty of attaching...
Going 70. That's that kid. Maybe he's going downhill. Looks like he's going downhill to me, so he's picked up speed. Truck's capped at 65, but he's picking up that speed.
I've seen plenty of bad FedEx drivers.
But if I'm his contractor, I'm not letting him post this.
I'm a pretty safe driver most of the time. But I think what happens is, because they were talking, Amazon, of course, came out, because I came up in that thread, because honestly, it's been my experience, they have a lot of bad drivers. But I think it's because they don't have a whole lot of, as many qualifications and rules and regulations. Like FedEx, man, there are a lot of bad drivers, but as with any company, but I don't know if it's any worse. They do have, you do have to do ongoing training, which requires a little bit of intelligence. When I started there, they make you take there's like an English competency module that you have to go through. I was a little shocked that I was taking it. I asked the
FedEx qualifications are more stringent than most companies.
Because I've read everything else in English, and I thought it was clear that I understood English, but they tell me that there are people that fail it. Which, watching how people don't follow some street signs and road signs and things like that, not really all that.
Anybody who's a contractor's heart's beating out of their chest like mine is right now.
You can't have certain types of violations on your record. So they have some qualifications that would weed out some goofballs and dummies. I think one of the problems with FedEx drivers or line haul drivers or dedicated route drivers just in general would be that you get complacent driving the same route. Like I've been doing this one for a year now.
Same that run for a year.
Like a full year. That's a lot of time going up and back. I'm sure people do them much longer than a year, but I mean a year is a long time to do the same route. I do it 5 days a week.
You have this run, dedicated run, driving during the day, seeing your family, home on the weekend. But I've had many of these runs over the years, and the guys who drive them do not give them up.
No, don't like that.
Especially if you got that mileage into the low 500s, 520, 530, 540. Perfect mileage where it's not overly aggressive, but it's a lot more than 420, 440. So typically when you're getting paid by the mile, you want more miles. So it makes a huge difference. But a 540, 560 even mile butthead during the day where you're not losing that hour just going to a terminal, all you're doing is meeting with another driver, swapping trailers. The guys in FedEx that we're familiar with just don't want to give those up. They're the best runs. I mean, where else are they going to go in all of trucking? Not just in FedEx, but in the entire trucking network, and make that money to be home every day. It just doesn't exist. And these guys are, if they're not clearing six figures, they're getting darn close for driving 5 days a week.
Same route. Come on, man. So, get out of the way. Anywho, yeah, so driving the same thing over and over and over again, like you get to know it pretty good, so you get more comfortable doing it.
Love it.
You
Consistency.
might drive a little faster than what you normally would because you know it.
Nope, you
That
drive it
doesn't mean
at
that's safer.
65,
Same
Mike.
thing to you.
65.
It got chilly when I dropped that down. I'm always paranoid when it gets like cold like this that something's gonna happen and like the heat's gonna go out or something and I'm gonna freeze to death. Fortunately, most of this trip, like civilization, is like pretty close. It kind of sucks in Pennsylvania, so there's about 30 miles of kind of, it gets a little sketch. For the most part, like if this truck broke down, radiator blew again, it's like I couldn't run the motor. I didn't want to stay here with the truck, like because I was fearful I would freeze or something.
All right, I'm gonna stop it there. Good video. It's the insight. What do they do when they are just in their truck? He's making a video. There's one gigantic kind of thing that's red flags, but other than that, guy is a good driver. You can see he's not sitting in that left-hand lane. He's not an aggressive driver. He's moving. He's letting people pass him. It's exactly what you're looking for in a driver on one of your best runs. Just being very reasonable out there on the road, and that's what we're looking for. So whether we're reviewing the video on his Lytics camera, or whether we're just have the ability to watch him in action, this would make me feel comfortable that I got a good one. I got a good solid dude taking care of the road. He mentions driving the same thing. Can I swap him on another run? Does he want to do something different for a period of time? Does he want a team? Can I offer him $2,000 plus a week to go on a 5-day team butthead, train a new driver? What does he want? I'm having that conversation. Hey man, you're maybe getting bored out there. Can you go do something else in the short term? I'll have this run ready, when you're ready to come back to it, but do you want to swap with somebody else in the short term? Just things to maybe make him a little more excited. Does he want to train new drivers? What can I do for him to get him engaged? But he's making YouTube videos from behind the truck, so he's got a certain level of engagement naturally from that. So I think good insight on here for a driver who's on a run that everybody wants. I mean, us as contractors, everybody wants these runs and more of these exact type of runs because they're really easy to recruit for, the money's great, and the retention is extremely simple. So another good one. And this is a new account for him, so something we'll be following, and we'll check out more of Sweet Baby Michael's stuff to come very soon. Thanks, everyone.